Just a warning, today's video is going to be more softly spoken because I feel like this topic is more serious and I'd rather speak it softly than whisper it. So if soft-speaking ASMR is not your cup of tea, I'm sorry, but this isn't really meant to be a video for relaxation. It's mainly for awareness. But basically, today I want to talk about a more serious kind of topic in the ASMR community, which I feel like needs to be addressed more. It has been addressed a lot of times, but I feel like it mainly has been focusing on ASMRtists who do sexual ASMR rather than viewers who purposefully sexualize ASMRtists when they're not trying to make sexual content. And I feel like this video is really important for anybody who is a smaller ASMRtist. Typically, if you're under 1,000 subscribers, or any new ASMRtists, anybody who's starting an ASMR channel, I feel like it's really important for you to watch this video so you can look out for any of the warning signs, because I'm going to be talking about people who request specific videos where they don't say that they're trying to request a sexual trigger, but it is inherently sexual, and they request a trigger without you knowing it being sexual. So yeah, so I hope that this video can be informative, and I'll get right into it. So what is ASMR? I have a script right in front of me because I don't want to forget anything. But ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, and it's a tingling sensation that you get anywhere on your body, mainly the back of your head, your shoulders, your back, and it's when you listen to certain relaxing sounds, sensory stimuli, such as visual triggers or tapping or whispering. So ASMR, as you can see, is supposed to be relaxing. It's supposed to give you tingles, supposed to help you fall asleep faster, and in a lot of cases, it can help depression, anxiety, loneliness, and that's what ASMR can be used for. So ASMR already, right off the bat, is not inherently sexual at all. I feel like that's an assumption that a lot of people have that don't really know about ASMR. When I tell, like in the past, when I've told people that I do ASMR, I've gotten really disturbing comments from people who didn't really know any better, saying, "You're doing ASMR, why don't you just do porn? It's basically the same thing, isn't it?" And I'm just like, no, God, ASMR is supposed to be for sleep and relaxation purposes, to give you tingles, to help you feel less lonely. It is not sexual at all. And I feel like that needs to be addressed because a lot of people who don't watch ASMR automatically assumes that ASMR is something sexual, and it is not. There hasn't been a lot of scientific evidence that ASMR has an effect on the brain and releases certain neurotransmitters that are supposed to relax you. Not a lot of great evidence, but there is some evidence. So in a 2015 Peer study, they found that ASMR can improve pain and mood systems, and certain neurotransmitters get transmitted and released when people watch ASMR, such as oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin, neurotransmitters that are supposed to help you feel relaxed and feel good. So already there's evidence that ASMR is not something sexual, it's something relaxing. And there's also theories that the extent to which a person can experience different ASMR can be due to the sensitivities of those neurotransmitters in their brain. And there also has been studies, I actually couldn't really find the names of the researchers, but based on an article that I read, which I can link, there has been a study that showed that when people were watching ASMR and they were put in an fMRI machine, which studies the function and the activity of certain areas in the brain, they found that when people were watching ASMR, there was higher activity in areas of the brain relating to emotion and empathy and connection. Emotion and empathy, which can show that ASMR can help people feel more connected and can help loneliness, as if areas of the brain that are related to emotion and empathy are triggered. That's why people watch role plays and such as videos that are like, hey, it's okay, shh, it's okay. It can help them with their loneliness and their depression and their anxiety. So I just wanted to put all of that information out there just to show and give some scientific-ish evidence that ASMR is not sexual. ASMR is for relaxation purposes. Purely. Of course, there is that sexual ASMR niche on YouTube. There are people that make ASMR for sexual purposes, which is totally fine. I don't have a problem with that. But normal ASMR is not really supposed to be sexual. That's just the point that I want to make. Everyone who makes ASMR is not always trying to be sexual, but there is that sexual ASMR niche. I've seen videos where people make moaning ASMR, banana sucking ASMR, lollipop sucking ASMR. And while the lollipop and mouth sounds videos aren't always supposed to be sexual, sometimes the creator's purpose is to make it sexual. Which, yeah, I don't have a problem with that, but it's important to realize that sexual ASMR and ASMR content that every other creator makes, they're different. ASMR is not inherently supposed to be sexual. And in my opinion, I feel like people who make sexual ASMR, I'm completely fine with that, but it might be better to post those on the hub if it's really meant for, getting off to that, or to have a 19 plus age restricted flag on the video so that, young kids won't stumble on moaning ASMR. But also I want to serve that as a warning to people who make videos doing mouth sounds, because although your intent may not to make it sexual, a lot of people do make mouth sounds videos to be sexual, so you just have to be aware that when you're making a mouth sounds video, and I'm also aware of this when I make mouth sounds videos, that when you're making mouth sounds videos, a lot of people who watch it, a lot of creepy people might get off to it. They might masturbate to it, which is really a shame if that's not your intent, because because I make mouth sounds ASMR videos and lollipop ASMR videos for relaxation purposes, genuinely, because for me, I love mouth sounds and I don't it doesn't turn me on. I don't get off to it. I don't masturbate to mouth sounds ASMR videos, but I know that there are a lot of people on the internet who do. So if you upload those kinds of ASMR videos, it's just important to be aware that, okay, even though it's not my intent and it's unfortunate, there are going to be people who find this and masturbate to it. And that is unfortunately why I am very uncomfortable with making lollipop ASMR custom videos, because although not everybody who requests those videos are looking to get aroused from it, there are many people who do. What's the problem here? The root of the problem? The problem, I think, in the ASMR community of sexualization of ASMR artists does not come from people who make sexual content for sexual purposes. I feel like that's a whole different category in the ASMR community. But I feel like the problem is when people watching ASMR sexualize the content creator or the ASMR artist when they're not trying to be sexual. None of my ASMR videos are for a sexual or sensual intent, though I have gotten very disturbing DMs in the past where some guy had DM'd me and said, I masturbate to your videos all the time, and I was so uncomfortable, because why would you need to tell me that? Why? But that's just what a lot of us have to deal with. I've also gotten requests to make porn and requests to make an OnlyFans, and while I don't have a problem with people who do have an OnlyFans or do porn, I don't have a problem with that at all. But I find it disturbing when a lot of ASMR artists get those requests when they do ASMR, because somehow I feel like there's an assumption that a lot of ASMR artists, if they do ASMR, it means that they're willing to do sexual content, which is not the case. So whereas it's really unfortunate that a lot of people believe that ASMR artists are willing to do sexual content immediately just because they make ASMR videos, there's nothing we can really do to stop those people from asking us those requests. But I just want to spread awareness that there are those people who will ask these kinds of things. And ASMR artist, every ASMR artist out there, please be careful and please be aware that when you post an ASMR video that consists of mouth sounds or close-up, licking the camera, lens licking, that kind of thing, even though your intent might not be to sexualize the content, that there are going to be creepy people out there sexualizing you and getting off to that content, and I just want you to be aware and be careful. Okay, so the next problem, which I saw Lily Whispers make a video on it, which prompted me to make this video, to be honest, but it's about people who make specific, very oddly specific requests for ASMR videos to ASMR artists that have an underlying sexual nature or might be a certain fetish, but they don't tell the ASMR artist that. In some instances that this has happened before in the ASMR community are when people have asked to, well, it has happened to me where people have asked me to make content where I act like a giant person and the people watching the video, they're tiny people, and I've gotten requests to take pictures where I'm a giant person and I'm stomping on the camera and that they're this tiny person. And at first I was very weirded out by this, and because I was very weirded out, I didn't do it. But later I found out that this was indeed a fetish. It's called the giantess fetish, or like a giant fetish, where people get off to being a tiny person, which I'm not kink shaming at all, but I feel like there's a problem when you're asking an ASMR artist to make this kind of content without telling them that you're going to masturbate to it. Because in a way, that's not getting their consent. Because their intent, if they make this kind of content, when you request it, they're probably going to be like, oh, they want this kind of video so they can sleep to it and they can relax to it. But they're not making this video for you to get off to it and masturbate to it. So I feel like there's a big problem there. And if you want to find out more about this, you can go watch Lily Whisper's most recent video called What's Going On in the ASMR Community. I think that's the title. But basically, there has been this one person with several different ASMR accounts requesting ASMR artists typically who have under 1,000 subscribers to read a certain book, a children's book called Commotion in the Ocean. And I've personally have gotten this request when I was smaller, maybe under 1,000 subscribers. And my friend Bubbly Mina ASMR, who is under 1,000 subscribers, has also gotten this request to read the book Commotion in the Ocean. And this person with several different accounts has been asking the same question, requesting ASMR artists to read this specific book. And I believe, and Lily Whispers also believes, that this is a spam account. And since it's such an oddly specific request, there is a possibility that there might be some kind of sexual nature behind it, or it might be a fetish, because it's not just asking ASMR artists to read this book. After the ASMR artists read this book, there has been comments by the same person being like, oh, this was great, I love this book, but can you read this book again with your hands showing? Or requests like, oh, I'm doing a school project on this book, can you please send this book to me personally to my address? So it might be a fetish, a sexual thing, that the person wants to get the book back from the ASMR artist, and the fact that the ASMR artist has already touched this book might arouse them. Or maybe they're trying to get your personal information, because if you send this book to them, then there has to be a return address. And this is all something I've seen Lily Whispers talk about this in her most recent video, but I also noticed this specific person asking for this request. So I guess the point is, ASMR artists out there, if there is a person who asks you for a very specific ASMR request, such as making content where they're a tiny person and you're a giant person, or reading that specific book, or if they ask you to, I don't know, wear a specific shirt, a specific lip gloss, a specific color, it might be a fetish thing. And I just think you have to be careful, because there is a pattern. There has been a lot of people requesting ASMR videos from ASMR artists, and the request having a sexual intent behind them, but not telling the ASMR artist that. So yeah, so moral of this video is that ASMR is not inherently sexual, it's for relaxation purposes, but there is an ASMR niche out there that is full of ASMR videos that is supposed to be sexual and arouse people. But the problem is when people sexualize ASMR artists who don't make ASMR that's supposed to be sexual, and they masturbate to those videos, and especially requesting specific requests from ASMR artists with an intent to masturbate to those types of videos. So any ASMR artists out there, no matter how big you are, please be careful. I just want everyone to be aware that when people ask these specific requests, their intent might not be to relax to these videos. It might be to sexualize that kind of content and get off to it. And that this kind of sexualization of ASMR unfortunately comes with mouth sounds videos, and yeah, so I just wanted to make this video to spread awareness and to basically serve a warning to people who are starting off with their ASMR channel or don't have many subscribers, who might fall into that trap. And you can still make mouth sounds videos. I will still personally make them, but just be aware that there are going to be people that sexualize you, and that is unfortunate. There's not really much we can do about it as ASMR artists, except for stick to each other, support each other, and if there's an ASMR request that makes you uncomfortable, do not do it. Don't do it. Just don't. There's a high chance that the person is requesting such a specific request because they want to get off to it. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video to spread awareness, and I hope it wasn't too boring, but rather informative. And I promise my next video is going to be more relaxing. So I love you guys, I love you guys, I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed and learned a bit from this video, and I will see you in my next video.